significant decrease in spending. Do you know what the deficit was in 2019?
I'm sure that you have it in front of you, sir, so I'm going to concede.
$984 billion. Do you know what the deficit is now?
It's not good.
Not good. A lot more than that, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, sir.
How much? Do you know how much it is?
Yes, we are at
Estimated to be
$1.9 trillion.
There we go, $1.8 trillion.
I think it's actually 1.9 now.
Got it.
Republican Congressman Brandon Gill just walked into this hearing and absolutely torched Democrats for their insane spending habits. Gill laid it all out, from transgender surgeries for foreigners to DEI scholarships overseas, to taxpayer money propping up left-wing media and NGOs fueling mass migration. Democrats try to dodge, deflect, and downplay, but Gill wasn't having it. He hit them with the numbers, the receipts, and the moral argument that the spending spree is crushing our kids with debt. You ever want to grab a seat, maybe grab a snack? Make sure you like and subscribe to 50 Patriots. And let's dive right back into it.
Thank you, Chairman Roy. Thanks for holding this hearing and especially for your fights over the past several years to promote fiscal prudence in Washington and very boldly standing up for the American taxpayers. We really appreciate that. It's not surprising to me that our colleagues across the aisle are not in favor of a balanced budget amendment. It would obviously stop them from spending money on their top priorities, which we've learned this year, things like transgender surgeries for foreigners, DEI scholarships in foreign countries, left-wing media outlets like NPR and PBS. Would stop them from funding the NGO industrial complex that's facilitated mass migration into our country, and all of the various other wasteful government programs that we've been fighting to slash over the past year since I've been in Congress, at least. Those are precisely the types of programs that I would like to see cut, and why, amongst other reasons, I think that a balanced budget would in fact be prudent. You know, every dollar that we spend right now above what we take in revenue is money that our children and grandchildren are going to have to pay back. And I, for one, don't want to, and I don't think that it is in any way moral to saddle my children, my son or my daughter, with debt to finance ridiculous programs as we have been. But with that said, I want to thank the witnesses for being here. Really appreciate y'all's time. Ms. Modney, I agree that with you that achieving a balanced budget requires a significant decrease in spending. Do you know what the deficit was in 2019?
I'm sure that you have it in front of you, sir, so I'm going to concede.
$984 billion. Do you know what the deficit is now?
It's not good.
Not good. A lot more than that, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, sir.
How much? Do you know how much it is?
Yes, we are at
Estimated to be
$1.9 trillion.
There we go, $1.8 trillion.
I think it's actually 1.9 now.
Got it. And during that time, we've also seen spending balloon and revenue not be able to keep up, of course. That's resulted in nearly a doubling of the deficit in 6 years. One of the things that we worked on as part of the tax package that we passed earlier this year was reducing wasteful spending. We cut spending by $1.5 trillion, the biggest mandatory spending reduction in our country's history. Would love to hear your thoughts on the work that we did as part of that spending reduction. What portions of that do you think were the most beneficial?
It's a little difficult for me to choose just one piece of it that was the most beneficial, but I do think that there were some significant wins. As we mentioned, we prevented a tax hike on the American people and specifically working families, so I would be remiss not to mention that. But in terms of your question on cuts, we eliminated $1.5 trillion in federal spending. That's going to reduce inflation significantly. One of the pieces of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that I am most in favor of is that we really started refocusing Medicaid on the vulnerable populations. And that included reforms that reduced the ability of Medicaid dollars, federal dollars from taxpayers. The course it's the taxpayers' money, not the government's, from going toward illegal immigrants. We also ensured that those who can work must work in order to access Medicaid dollars. That's really important, not just in terms of our fiscal health as a nation, but because these programs were designed as safety net programs for the most vulnerable, and this helps refocus them.
Yep. And there's been some talk, and we've discussed possibly doing a second reconciliation bill. What are a few policy ideas that you think we should particularly focus on if we do go in that direction?
I'll stick with the Medicaid theme for a little while, sir. One thing that we could do is lower or eliminate the federal match assistance percentage floor. Right now, there's a statutory floor of 50%. We could reduce that so that states who, under the formula, would receive less from the federal government that could save us $400 billion. We could also repeal the Medicaid FMAP increase to the states that initially declined expansion. That would save us over $13 billion. Another option would be reducing the enhanced FMAP match for expansion populations that was from the Affordable Care Act. This, of course, is what gives the able-bodied working age adults $9 for every $1 for the traditional population. If we did that, it would save $700 billion.
Thank you, Ms. Bodney.
Brandon Gill opens by thanking Chairman Roy and immediately sets the tone, praising his long fight for fiscal responsibility and standing up for American taxpayers. Gill makes it clear right away. It's no surprise Democrats oppose a balanced budget amendment because it would shut off the money pipeline to their favorite pet projects. Gill then starts naming names and programs. And this is where it gets brutal. He points to taxpayer-funded transgender surgeries for foreigners, DEI scholarships in foreign countries, and federal money flowing to left-wing media outlets like NPR and PBS. According to Gill, all of it would come to a screeching halt under a balanced budget. And that's exactly why Democrats hate the idea. He doesn't stop there. Gill calls out the NGO industrial complex, accusing it of facilitating mass migration into the United States, all while Americans are told there's no money for border security or working families. He says these are precisely the programs that need to be slashed if Washington ever wants to get serious about spending. Then Gill brings it home. Every dollar Washington spends beyond its means, he says, is debt dumped onto our children and grandchildren. He calls it immoral to saddle his own kids with debt just to fund what he calls ridiculous, wasteful programs pushed by the radical left. Gill shifts gears and starts grilling the witnesses. He asks about the federal deficit in 2019, just under $1 trillion. Then he asks about today. The answer? Nearly $2 trillion. In just 6 years, the deficit has almost doubled, while spending has exploded and revenue can't keep up. Next, Gill highlights the recent tax and spending package, pointing out that Republicans cut $1.5 trillion in federal spending, the largest mandatory spending reduction in American history. The witness agrees there were major wins, including preventing tax hikes on working families and reducing inflation. One of the biggest wins, according to the witness, was refocusing Medicaid. The reforms cut off federal Medicaid dollars from illegal immigrants and reinforced work requirements for able-bodied adults, putting the program back where it was meant to be, as a safety net for the truly vulnerable. Gill then looks ahead and asks what should come next if Congress passes another reconciliation bill. The witness outlined several options that would save hundreds of billions more, including lowering federal match rates for Medicaid expansion and rolling back enhanced payments from Obamacare-era policies. By the end of this exchange, the message is crystal clear. While Democrats defend bloated budgets and radical priorities overseas, Brandon Gill is demanding accountability, discipline, and end to burning taxpayer money on ideological nonsense. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video. Subscribe to 50 Patriots. Share this with friends who follow political hearings. And see you in the next one.